That guy, that was a very disrespectful thing, especially the way it was done.
I don't think we've ever contacted him again, right?
No, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. If you did it once, more than likely, and I'm not going to ostracize you, but if you did it once, more than likely you're going to do it again. This is going to hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast. You know, I have respect for everybody else's time. Why is my time not valuable?
Is his time more valuable than your time?
Apparently. You know, thankfully those days, again, it's going back, you know, so he's going down to a basement and he's doing this stuff. And, you know, we try to make our studio as professional looking as possible, but you're still in a basement. But, you know, with somebody like him, I take great lengths to make sure people are coming in here. You know, I make sure I give them a call a week ahead of time, making sure, because we're scheduling now almost 3 months out. And it's easy to forget. So I make sure I keep up. You know, I throw out a text every here, hey, listen, looking forward to your show, just to keep them in the loop and stuff like that. But now that we're in studio, we have to do things a little bit different. You know, because we pay for studio time, so that's why you and I are here now.
We can't adapt anymore.
No.
It's true. They do pay for studio time.
And he overcharges the shit out of us
It's
for
just,
it.
it's something just right there. It's right there.
You know what, though?
You know,
Andrew's well worth it.
Listen, 3 blocks away, he drives his new Mercedes here, 3 blocks, just because of our studio time.
Because I deal with walking traffic, Mike.
Yeah.
So his license plate is Suffering One because we paid for it. Suffer this.
Suffer this.
You know, but I take those great lengths to make sure after I schedule a guest to keep in contact with them, to make sure that they're up in what's going on. I send them links here and there. And so, you know, for the most part, out of 115 episodes, this is 115, we've done pretty well. I mean, what have we had? 8 or 9?
I don't even think that many, did we?
Well, Crudell, you know, I'm going to bust Crudell's balls. He got out twice.
Twice he cut out on us.
Yeah, twice.
And I was still calling you, seeing if he wants to come back on, right?
Yeah, well, I'd say, Bobby, listen, you're welcome anytime, but the next time, I don't know.
We had Crudell twice. We had
the reality star.
The reality star. We had the cop, active cop, that didn't want to drive in the snow.
How ridiculous. Let's stop on that one. How ridiculous was that? So here's another reason why people cut out. So if you don't, it's kind of like buyer's remorse. So when you go out and make a big purchase and you bring it home and you're all excited about it and you get this home and all of a sudden you realize how much you just spent, you're like, fuck. But you bought it.
You bought it.
So it's a lot with guest remorse. They'll say, yeah, they're all into it. You have these great conversations with them. I can't wait for this. I can't wait. And as it gets closer and closer, the communication, and that's where the gut feeling
getting further and further away.
That's where the gut feeling comes in. The communication starts breaking down. And it's only happened once where this was not the norm. Communication breaks down and they start getting second thoughts. Well, I don't know if I want to do this.
We've had this conversation though. You know, I'm not getting a good feeling about this guy. Haven't talked to him in a couple of days. You know, this guy keeps calling me all the time. I know he's coming in. Reach out to this guy a couple of times and he hasn't reached back. I don't know what's going on for this weekend.
You know, I've learned
it's happened quite a few times.
In this podcast, I've learned to trust my gut so much more.
Absolutely.
And usually, more often than not, when my gut doesn't feel something, it's usually true. Yeah. You know, so that one guy who's an active cop, it was snowing that day. And he just, I don't want to do it. Like, because it's snowing.
Do you call out sick from work because it's snowing?
I wish I could.
Just fucking get your ass up here.
I can't.
No, you have no excuse. None.
Right. You know, there's one time I saw the snow today and I was going to call you guys and say, you know, I'm not sure about
that massive snowstorm.
Oh man, I had to walk. I was walking through it today. Those 3 blocks felt like 3 miles, Mike.
He's got those snow waffle shoes. You ever seen those that they wear in Alaska?
Well, you know, he's in a similar situation to us. This is considered a small business.
Yeah.
He's a small business owner, Andrew. And if
small person too, but
if he doesn't show up,
Mike, you and I are about the same height, Mike. For all the listeners and viewers out there, please note, Mike and I are about the same height. The only difference is my hair.
Mike wears 3-inch heels, though.
Only difference is I'll kick your ass.
When we try to line the guests up, we do in height order. All right, we haven't had one in here. Well, no, Cooney. Jerry Cooney. He was the only one that's taller than me.
Taller than you, yeah.
Yeah, because I try to schedule him that way. But that guy, that was a very disrespectful thing, especially the way it was done.
I don't think we've ever contacted him again, right?
No, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. If you did it once, more than likely, and I'm not going to ostracize you, but if you did it once, more than likely you're going to do it again. Like Bobby's different. Bobby was in. Bobby did his show.
And Bobby's Bobby. He's a friend of the show.
Yeah, Bobby's Bobby. So, he's in a different category.
He had reasons for bailing, too.
I'm sure he did.
I mean, he's very heavily involved in his kids' sports and everything. And, he's got the 2 boys and the girl, and every one of them is heavily involved in sports. And he coaches all of them.
Speaking of heavy, Bobby's getting heavy. Did you hear that, Bobby? I just called you heavy.
I screwed up. Bobby's working. He's getting big. He's working out a lot.
He's working out a lot?
Bob, I got your back, pal.
Because you see him more than I do. But, so what do you think some other reasons are where a guest would cancel? Obviously, like tonight, we were supposed to record someone tonight, and that's a given. Like, that's something that's you can't avoid.
Yeah.
It's a medical issue, so.
I think some people are a little skeptical. Maybe they haven't watched the show yet. Maybe they haven't seen what we're all about. Like we talked about Benny Love before. When Benny came in here with Butchie, Benny was a little skeptical of us. He didn't.
Do you think that was because of the show or because we were ex-cops?
Maybe a little both.
Yeah.
Maybe even the name of the show, Suffering, But a lot of people don't want to really talk to ex-cops. Listen, Benny was on the other side of that law at one point. Turned himself around. He's a great guy now. Do they have trust for cops? So I think a lot of skepticism, people don't want to maybe come in here and spill their guts to 2 guys they don't know. Gene Halberger.
Gene traveled a long way by car to get here.
Gene traveled a long way. And look at we've both seen Gene since then. Mm-hmm. The way he sat here that day and opened up to us. I know he was skeptical about coming in.
Well, suffering is a visceral word. But that's purposeful.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
purposeful. Oh, you're coming on the Suffering podcast. I don't want to suffer. Like, what are you going to do? Whip me with chains and shit? No.
Well, you know what? A guy like Gene, too, that's lifelong suffering.
Yeah.
He went down to his depth, and he's still coming up. But he'll never be out of that whole suffering. He was pretty much still going through the suffering when he came on, and he's still going to go through it his whole life.
It's how he uses it.
Yeah, it's how he uses it. Exactly.
But that's how we try to display it to our guests. So, when I talk to potential guests, here's how I discuss it. I'd say very simply, everybody suffers, but it's how you overcome adversity. And that's what our show is about. It's how to overcome adversity. It's a very easy sell to people because everybody likes to have that hero story where they overcame some sort of hardship.
The old "we're not born with silver spoons in our mouths."
Some people we had in here are. Some people.
Oh, yeah.
But, tonight's episode, the medical reasons, we totally understand emergencies. Somebody passes away in your family. You have a medical emergency. You're not feeling well. You get sick. Those are all, in my mind, and it's how I legitimize it in my mind. They're legitimate excuses. The ones that aren't legitimate, they are just people who disrespect our time.
Exactly. Self-centered. They don't care about, maybe they weren't in it from the beginning. Maybe they didn't really care about it in the beginning, and last minute they decided, screw it. I'm not going to go. I don't feel like talking.
No,
but like you said, medical emergency. We could even say vehicle emergency.
That's
car breaks down. Shit happens.
We had that one recently. I spoke to her half an hour before the show. We did our Instagram Live. We did the openings. We did everything. And then ghost.
Yeah.
Just ghost. And to this day, ghost.
Yeah.
I haven't reached out to her either. But that, to me, that's an unforgivable one.
And it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
We had to totally regroup and put another show out that day. I mean, we have to put a show out every week. Mm-hmm. And we had nothing that day.
Because the show's much different now. If we didn't record a week, the studio's in my house. We can record it anytime we want. Now we have to stay on schedule. Our audience has grown. They expect certain things from us. The expectations are higher.
So we're up to like 6.25 now or something like that.
Yeah, we're on the race to 10,000. We're on the race to 10,000.
We're getting there.
But that's a draw for guests.
Absolutely.
That's a draw for guests. Okay, we're doing anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 a month, and we have 6,200 subscribers. Well, it's a lot easier to do that and then say, oh yeah, we're just on audio. So when you schedule the guests,
We're just two jerks behind a mic.
Yeah.
Why don't you come in and talk to us?
two jerks behind a mic that work their asses off to get where they are.
We're still getting,
Now there's 3.
Now there's 3 jerk offs behind a mic. I like this.
2 jerks behind a mic, 1 behind a window.
I like this microphone thing.
Right behind.
I like this. Only problem is like when Katia shows up. Katia is Andrew's wife, and when Katia shows up, we got to turn that mic off. Oh, she's gonna beat the shit out of me for saying that.
But they'll start.
The camera was directly on you during that whole thing.
He's gonna use that as leverage.
Yes, that's gonna be a clip pull.
That's not a live mic, right? That's a push button. You're gonna. If him and Katia are in there and it's a live mic, they're gonna hear. Shut up, Peter. What are you doing? What do we have for dinner tonight?
I actually got a text before the show from Katia say, "Take it easy on Andrew. He had a rough day." She preps me.
I did. It was an interesting day. It was all the snow. And
Snow?
You should have canceled on us and made it a trifecta.
No. I walked through and I knew that. You know what? I was like, we have a show tonight, and the show must go on.
Well, we have a new obligation with the show, and it comes in form of Andrew. So this studio, if we record on Wednesday nights and we have that time booked with Andrew, we have to be respectful of his time.
Absolutely.
Because if we're not,
all goes back to what you said before about time.
If we don't record here, well, Andrew's not only losing money, a potential he could get somebody else in here and make his living, but so we have a new wrinkle as far as. But we've always been respectful of people's times.
Too. Like I said, we record at 7:00. It's Andrew's time away from his family.
Yeah. He's a family man, and he's got obligations and children and a wife.
I mean,
A very beautiful, loving.
You're such a kiss ass.
Holy
Very
Christ.
much,
Oh my God.
My God.
Are you in the doghouse today?
Yeah, he must have fucked up. So what'd you do today?
No. I just like
Yeah,
to make sure
yeah.
that my business partner, my spouse, and my wife at the same time knows.
You should take. You know what you should do? You should take her over to 3 Acres, one of our sponsors. They got a spa in there. They have a restaurant in there. 3 Acres, the one in Jersey City. You've been there. Well, no, you haven't been there yet.
Claremont Avenue.
Claremont Avenue in Jersey City. Go to 3acres.com. That will give you everything that your wife wants. She can get, instead of her doing the esthetician work, she will have it done to her. Do you notice I said esthetician and not she gives facials?
Listen, facial is a totally.
You can't say that with a straight face.
I can't.
I can't.
I can't
say it.
because girls will say it all the time. Like, I'm going to get a facial. I'm like,
Why don't you just stay home and you can get one?
what the fuck?
There are certain words that mean different things to men and women.
Oh, we could have a whole show. Like, a girl will call her friend my girlfriend. Really?
Really?
All
You
right.
mean like a galentine?
A Galentine?
Galentine.
Oh, is it like a girl's Valentine?
Yeah, this is like.
Strange.
I know it's a strange. We're talking about cancellations and things of that nature, but yeah, there's a new thing called a galentine where the girls just get together and they do stuff.
Oh my God.
I know a guy whose last name is Ballantyne. That's not like a boy Valentine.
Well, I don't go out with Mike and say, hey, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend.
Exactly.
That would be a Valentine.
How the fuck do we get off topic like that?
Hey, Drew, would you shut up for a minute? Give the guy Mike and he takes over the show.
So if we see these cancellations coming and, all the work that's wasted in between there, what do we do with it?
But, it's funny, too, you bring that up. I was actually at dinner with the person who bailed out on us tonight.
He didn't so much bail out.
He didn't bail out.
There's reasons.
There's reasons for it. But I was at dinner with him. And I text you and you're like, what are we going to do? So I'm at dinner with this guy. We're texting back and forth with different ideas and trying to come up with, show prep. And I just text you. Actually, the first text was cancel or suffering or cancellations. But then I put of after it. Mm-hmm. And we just ran with that.
We ran with it. And actually, this show was produced on the fly. But that's what we do when we can't. So the wasted time, it's hard. It's a hard way to look at it. Yes, you can see all the work that's put into the production of an episode, but it's really not wasted time because we've become very adept at producing shows quickly,
On the fly.
On the fly. Very, very adept. for everybody out there, if they think this show is totally off the cuff, you're fooling yourself. No show is totally off the cuff.
I mean, we do have a set plan of how we're going to go about it.
But if this is all we talk about, that's going to be a shitty show.
Yeah, it's going to be boring.
It's going to be a bad, bad show.
Well, you know, like I said, I was on the SWAT team back in the day, and we had a lot. We had a couple rules. There's one: leave the plan in the van, because you have this whole plan. When you come up in the van, you're going to go in, you're going to break in, you're going to go this way, you're going to go that way, you're going to go this. All of a sudden, shit hits the fan. Everybody's running all over the place. Mm-hmm. And the other thing was improvise, adapt, and overcome. You got to see what you're going up to. You improvise. You got to adapt to what's happening, and you got to overcome that situation. And that's really what this is all about.
You guys got to stop watching Heartbreak Ridge. Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Like I said, that's a SWAT saying. So.
But you have to learn things from your cancellations.